Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection, and today we'll be talking about, well, a bit of news from last week. It was announced that, and to be fair, this was one of those things I think we all saw coming. But it was announced last week that starting next year, Marvel Comics will be publishing Alien and Predator titles as opposed to Dark Horse. So, first off, the obvious bad side is that all the characters that Dark Horse has been telling stories of for years no longer, no longer a part of anything. So, yeah, the post-Alien Isolation story of Amanda Ripley, it's ending this year. Character that pops up in those as well, Zula Hendricks, yeah, her tale's coming to an end as well. And yeah, that does suck. I'm not even going to try and find some way to say, it's not so bad, but no, that does suck. Now, some things that have been stated are that, first off, unlike when Marvel retained got back the license for Conan, the Alien and Predator franchises will not be integrated into the greater Marvel Universe. They will be in their own continuity away from Heroes. Okay, alright. I just hope that doesn't completely cut out the possibility of crossovers that, well, to be fair, if you've got two of the biggest franchises in horror, or in sci-fi horror, as well as one of the biggest superhero franchises ever. The idea of the thought to not cross them over in like out of continuity stories, it seems not doing so seems irresponsible from a business standpoint. I mean, hell, they don't have to be set in, like I said, you don't have to set stories like that in continuity. You can have, I think Bat in the Sun made a Wolverine vs. Predator fan film years ago. You can do something like that. Or have Punisher and Predator. Or Aliens kill the Marvel Universe. Which, by the way, Marvel, if you're watching, and you're interested in that idea, hit me up. I got you. Anyway, they've also said they will be telling stories with classic characters from the franchise as well as new characters. Now, that's where things get a little odd to me. Because let's be fair, a lot of the classic characters from the Alien franchise, well, they're dead. The only one still technically alive is Ripley, and even then, it's not Ripley, but rather Ripley 8. Unless Disney says, okay, you know what, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, those don't count. Prometheus, that doesn't count. Which I'm sure would make quite a few fans quite happy, me included. But yeah, one potential thing I see happening that could be really good is finally a canonical what happened to Dutch after Predator story. I think Dark Horse actually did do a post Predator Dutch story, but it was never definitively canon for the series. So, yeah. Now, over the last week, there have been plenty of people who have popped up and said, well, this is a terrible idea. And it's really not. Now, I can potentially see why maybe they might say that. Marvel does largely publish comic books aimed at a younger audience. This is true. However, they do, well, they did have the Max line until they canned it because it wasn't making money. However, but on the other hand, with that, they did bring the Max line back for a few months last year and this year with Punisher Soviet. So, there are two things that could happen here. Either A, Marvel could resurrect the Max imprint and publish Alien, Predator, AVP, whatever, under that imprint, under that. Or they could come up with something completely new, like something akin to, say, DC's Black Label line, where, yes, that's the line that'll be the line under which all of the Alien and Predator titles are published under, but also maybe more mature stories featuring, say, Wolverine or the Punisher or hell, Captain America. You know, basically a line that, like I said, akin to DC's Black Label line, which tells mature stories. And yes, as viewers of the Roundup have seen, there are books in Black Label that have nothing to do with superheroes, such as the Hill House line. But you've also got, so far, 3 titles focusing on Harley Quinn. There have been, I think, 3 miniseries focusing on Batman, with more coming. There's a Question miniseries, there's a Wonder Woman miniseries. So yeah, I mean, these are all things that are totally feasible. Oh, they even did a Superman series. Frank Miller and John Romita Jr.'s Superman Year One. Not really big Superman fan, so that's why I wasn't covered. But so yeah, that's a possibility there. And again, yes, it does suck that, you know, they basically kind of said, yeah, no, all that stuff from, you know, the late 80s onward, none of it counts anymore. Now, another point in the maybe not a bad thing column. A few years ago, actually more than a few, but a while ago, Disney, after purchasing Lucasfilm, did the same thing with Star Wars. They took the license from Dark Horse after buying Lucasfilm lock, stock, and barrel, and moved it to Marvel. Since then, now, okay, say what you will about the recent Star Wars movies. I'm not talking about those in this. What I'm talking about is the comics. And to be fair, I actually haven't been reading the Star Wars comics. But what I've seen mainly mainly through, you know, shared panels and pages online are actually kind of some really interesting stories. And just interesting moments, such as in the aftermath of the Battle of Yavin, Luke Skywalker, well, Vader's trying to find the pilot who's from the Death Star. Him and Luke come upon one another. They have a lightsaber duel. Luke claims it, says to Vader, "You murdered my father," and Vader says, basically says, "You have, you know, you're going to have to be more specific, there, kid." And then later on, Vader would send Boba Fett to learn the identity of this pilot, and Fett would return and say, "Yeah, He got away, but I got a name. Skywalker. And so, yeah, there have been, there actually have been some pretty decent Star Wars comics under Marvel in recent years. So, maybe not a bad thing. And finally, what I kind of think of as the elephant in the room. Even if the Alien and Predator titles from Marvel are bad, I mean, to be perfectly honest, look at the Alien and Predator movies recently. The Predator, AVP, AVPR, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection. That's really, that is a low bar to exceed. And hell, even if you're among those that despise Prometheus and Covenant, still not that high of a bar. There have been 5 definitively, and I would say 5 definitively good movies within, well, great to not bad, that I think no one would argue are bad movies. Okay, maybe some will, but hey. Alien, Aliens, Predator, Predator 2, and Predators. Personally, I also think that Prometheus and Covenant are at least not bad and bring up interesting ideas. But I also know that I am not holding the only viewpoint on that. So yeah, I mean, if the bar is to be better than the crap, it's not that high of a bar. The movies have already screwed themselves up quite a bit over the last almost 30 years. So, But yeah, anyway, that's it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.